Welcome to Dark Docent. My name is Jake. Join me as I guide my friend James down the paranormal rabbit hole, attempting to prove the authenticity of a new case each week. Today's case, the abduction of Travis Walton. How you doing today, James?
I'm pretty good.
That's good.
In fact, I'm doing very good.
Really? Why's that?
Probably because I'm fed. I have a beer in me. It's the weekend. And I'm here with my buddy Jake, ready to learn about cool paranormal crap.
Well, I'm glad it means so much to you.
That's almost sounded aggressive. How are you?
How are you? I'm good, brother. I have been working hard researching this week because I have a list of what we're doing each week.
Yeah.
It's like 3 years long.
It's a very long list that you won't let me see.
Because I gotta keep it secret.
So it's an alleged long list.
It is a long list.
I haven't seen any evidence of it, but...
Well, we just did with the Black Monk, and I was looking to what we were doing next, and we got a big one on our hands, brother.
Two-parter big?
Maybe. Depends how I'm feeling.
Maybe even 3 parts.
Trust me, this is one of the biggest paranormal events that have ever happened in the history of ever.
One of the biggest ever.
Yes, sir.
Paranormal events.
Yes, sir.
Recent?
Pretty recent.
Is it the Miami Mall incident?
No.
Fuck.
But
When?
eventually. But it is up there for one of the strangest things to have ever happened. I have a story for you. November 5th, 1975. Snowflake, Arizona. We are in the woods just outside of Snowflake. Lumberjacks are working away in the woods, trying to complete a contract. This is Mike Rogers' crew. They are working sunrise to sunset, trying to get this job done, because they have over 1,200 acres to process, and this is the largest job that they have had, and they were running a little behind. Mike Rogers' crew, we have Mike Rogers, the head of the crew, John Goulet, Ken Peterson, Steve Pierce, Dwayne Smith, Alan Dallas, and Travis Walton. It's the end of the day, and they're all packing up and hopping into Mike's truck. And they begin driving the 40 miles back to Snowflake on a logging road. As they're driving, they're talking amongst themselves, amped up from the hard work all day, when they see a warm glow over a hill. People start asking what it could be. Some say maybe it's the moon. Well, the moon's on the other side of the skyline, so it can't be that. Some say, could it be a plane crash? Well, John Goulet was in the Navy, and he said it didn't look like any plane crash he'd seen. Some say maybe it was a large campfire. Let's think more down to earth. It is deer season, and there could be some guys hunting, maybe just having a bonfire. Some of the other men say, maybe it's a forest fire starting. Either way, we're going to be passing it, and we should check out, make sure it's all good. Well, as they drive over the hill, the warm glow is getting brighter, and it's far too bright to be a campfire. And then all of a sudden, the forest opens up into a clearing, and they see the source of the glow. It was a metallic flying saucer, 20 feet in diameter, 10 feet thick, with a hazy golden glow to it. It was floating about 100 feet away, 15 to 20 feet off the ground. The men state that you could actually see the framework and light panels along the belly of the craft. Before the truck could even stop, Travis hops out of the passenger side and begins running towards the craft. The men in the truck begin screaming for Travis to get back to the truck. They're screaming and yelling, trying to get him to stop. But Travis keeps moving closer to the object. He got within 10 feet of the craft, looking up at a 45-degree angle. The men are still screaming, trying to get Travis to get his wits about him again. He seemed almost like he was in a trance, when all of a sudden the men begin to hear the craft start to wind up, making strange thunderous whirring sounds, almost like the bass of an engine, combined with high-pitched noises. This led to Travis getting his wits back to him, and he turned and began to run back to the truck. But as he turned, a greenish-blue beam shot out of the craft and hit Travis, causing him to fly back 20 feet onto the ground. The crew began screaming and yelling. One of them yelled, "They got him! They got Travis!" And Mike started the truck and slammed his foot to the floor because they thought they were next. They kept driving. Mike kept saying, "It's following us, it's following us." But all the other men are saying, "No, it's not. We can't see it. We don't know where it is." And everyone's just panicking about what's going on. After flying down the logging road, Mike abruptly slammed his brakes on the truck. The men get out of the truck and begin discussing what they should do. They're all panicking. They don't know what they just saw. One of the men said that he thought he saw Travis get incinerated into dust. Steve Pierce argued this and said, No, I saw him land. He's still there. Mike decided, we have to go back. Some of the men were saying, "You're crazy. We're not going to go back there. We can't go back there. It's going to do the same thing to us." So Mike said, "That's fine. I'll just leave you all out here in the dark forest by yourselves. I'm sure that's a lot safer." That swayed everybody to get back into the truck. So they begin driving back, and they were all expecting to find at least the remains of their friend Travis. But when they got back, the craft was gone. And so was Travis. They began searching the woods surrounding the clearing. They said they all kept close to one another, all terrified. They thought that maybe he got hit and crawled out into the trees. After looking around for some time, they couldn't find any evidence that Travis was there. Mike broke down crying, instantly felt guilt and shame for leaving his friend behind. All they could do was go into town and figure everything out from there. But little did they realize that this was the beginning of the most famous alien abduction ever recorded. James, have you heard of the abduction of Travis Walton?
I have, actually.
I'm not surprised that
I do know about a little, not much, but I do know a little bit about this one. I've heard about it before on probably the Joe Rogan podcast. But I also just watched a movie a month or two ago, Fire in the Sky.
You watched Fire in the Sky?
I watched Fire in the Sky.
Okay.
And it was this case.
It was. The movie is entirely based on the Travis Walton story.
I think I've even referenced it in one of our other podcasts.
Oh yeah, this is a very famous case. I am not surprised that you know it.
Well, let's go to conclusions then.
Here's the thing, brother. This case isn't just famous for the abduction itself, but the evidence surrounding it. And we're getting into all of it today.
I'm sure there's a lot that I don't know, and even more that I've forgotten about. I don't usually take away a lot from movies.
Well, the movie has a lot of creative liberties.
Yeah, there would, of course, be lots of dramatization.
Travis even calls it out, the amount of liberties they took, decreasing the size of the crew, changing the names. Actually, if you go to look up the crew for Mike Rogers' crew, you will first find the crew from the movie, which is different names than the actual crew.
Of course.
So don't fall for that. And honestly, that is actually consistent with other things around the story. There is a lot of false reporting that gets misconstrued.
Sounds like a psyop.
Well, we'll get into it. They're driving back into town, and they don't know what to do. They're trying to decide, should we go home? Well, no, we can't just go home. How are you going to sleep after witnessing this? Well, they thought maybe, what if we called the cops? Alan Dallas was instantly like, no, we're not calling the cops. I don't want the cops near me. Alan had a few run-ins with the law, and he did not like dealing with police. Well, in the end, they decided that they should call 911. So Ken Peterson is actually the one that went to the payphone and called 911. He didn't say that there was a UFO that took their friend. He simply said, "I'd like to report a missing person. Could you meet us at this location?" They were waiting for police, discussing if they should tell the truth or not. Because they're like, we could tell the truth, but they'll think we're insane. How are you going to tell the cops we just saw our friend get zapped by a UFO? Well, they were like, well, we could make up a story that's more feasible, but would lying just create more problems for us in the future if we made up something else? After much debate, they figured, let's just tell them the truth. There's 6 of us, and if we're all telling the exact same story, then there won't be any lying. There's going to be no change in the story because we're all telling the same thing because it's what we saw. So they agreed, we'll just tell the same story then. We'll tell what we saw. After some time had passed, Sheriff Marlon Gillespie and Deputy Ken Copeland met the group outside of a diner. Sheriff Gillespie says when he pulled up, all the men began trying to explain at once what happened. They were panicking, crying. Some of them were still sniffling, and these were hardened lumberjack guys. He did say that either they were telling the truth or they were some Oscar-winning actors, though he was skeptical. He began questioning the boys. Have you guys been drinking? Any drugs out in those woods? Things like that. And the guys got kind of pissed. They're like, no, our friend got taken. Don't focus on us. Like, we want to find our friend. We got to go back out and find him. And the cops were like, sure. But they were investigating the car. Now, they did not find any alcohol, like open beers, didn't smell like booze, none of that. So the guys were sober, and they were obviously scared. So after hearing these men talk about this story of this strange craft, Sheriff Gillespie thought this can't be true. But what is a feasible thing is 6 guys got together and are covering up a crime. All the men went home, and the next day, November 6th, Sheriff Gillespie heads a manhunt of 60 men, and they were searching for a body. They told the public that they were searching for Travis, a missing person, but Gillespie was 100% sure that they were looking for a murder. So they went to the clear cut where they were working. They were digging through all of the downed brush, anywhere, trying to find something. Now, here's the thing, is if he wasn't murdered, though, he was definitely dead, because it gets really cold in Arizona in November at night. So he's like, there's absolutely no way that Travis survived the night in the middle of the woods with how he was dressed.
If the aliens didn't get him, the exposure would have.
Exactly. So he's like, no matter what, we're finding a body. But the thing is that even some of the lumberjack crew, they joined the search as well. Some of them didn't, but some of them did, including Mike Rogers, the head of the crew. Because Mike was actually friends with Travis. And one thing the men say is they didn't like how they were being accused so much. Because they weren't actually even that close of friends. Actually, Alan Dallas got into a fight with Travis the day he went missing. Alan cut down a tree and almost dropped it on Travis. Those two did not like each other. You would think that if your buddy got taken by a UFO, or you're making up the story, you wouldn't tell him, no, it's a bunch of horse shit, this guy's lying, I want to fuck him over. Because they did not like each other at all.
Yeah.
So they have some policemen out there, they have the original lumberjack crew out there, and they even have a bunch of volunteers. But Mike noticed something. A couple of these volunteers were carrying Geiger counters. So Mike went up to them and asked them, hey, what are these machines for? They said radiation, but they weren't finding much in the area. Well, Mike said, check us. We were right there beside the thing. So he got all the guys together and they scanned the Geiger counters on them. Nothing. No sign of anything. Well, then Mike was like, wait. We went home, we showered up, we changed our clothes. We were far away, and lots of us were sheltered in the truck. But our hard hats were in the back. So maybe our hard hats got some radiation on them. So we grabbed all their hard hats and said, hey, scan these. The men put the Geiger counters over the hard hats. And the needle shot right up. All their hard hats are radioactive. As soon as this needle shot up, these men dropped their Geiger counters, like just put them down by their side, looked at them, turned around, and left. And Mike was like, that's weird. Wouldn't they come to help the search? Why are they just here with Geiger counters? So he started asking around, like, hey, who are these guys? They're starting to leave. He's starting to, who are these guys? Who are these guys? Who are these guys? No one else in the party knew who they were. Just strangers with Geiger counters that left as soon as they found some radiation.
A fun hobby.
A fun hobby.
Like metal detectors, but for even cooler people. Why do you fit 7 guys in a truck?
Oh, they were like just packed in. Like it was like one of those old school crew cabs sort of thing. So we had, I think it was 4 guys up front and 3 guys in the back, or vice versa.
Probably just bench seats.
Yeah, bench seats. Yeah, these guys, it was the 1970s, man. Seatbelts were optional and you were allowed to drink and drive.
3 in the front, 4 in the back.
That's exactly it. Yeah, they just packed right up. The next day, they decided to increase the search. This is Friday, November 7th. The police brought in helicopters to search the area, and they got police to search every building within 20 miles. Maybe Travis did run through the woods and find some shelter and hide away. Now, Sheriff Gillespie, even though he didn't believe these guys, he took the search very seriously because he wanted to find if these guys, they had to attach if they killed him. They need that body, right?
Yeah.
Well, Deputy Copeland was kind of a dick. And he was a lot more skeptical, to the point of disrespect. During the search, he turned to the group of men and said, quote, "Just tell us what you did to Travis." And, quote, "Where's the body?" Or, "We could get home a lot sooner if you just told us what you did to Travis." Real dick things to say. Definitely not unbiased.
Just straight up accusing them.
Yeah, right away. These guys are guilty. It's like, I look at these cops and I'm like, what assholes? And then I think about the cop from the Lizard Man case, Sheriff Truesdale. He was told that there's a lizard man attacking cars. And he was like, "Now, I don't believe no lizard man, but I'm going to help these people out if they're seeing something weird in the swamp." This guy's instantly like, "You killed him, fuck you." Like, what a dick.
Something's biting them, their vehicles.
Hey, you know what? He took it serious. Say what you will. He was a good cop.
Yeah, it was probably a slow day.
Slow while, I guess. But he did good. Anyway, the men stuck with their story. No, because he kept saying, "Just tell us the truth." And they said, "We are telling you the truth. I don't know what else to tell you." Deputy Copeland laughed and said, quote, "I suppose Travis is halfway to Mars by now." Real dick. Now, here's the thing. They didn't find any evidence of a UFO, but they also had no evidence that there was a murder and no evidence of Travis.
Was Travis's hard hat in the truck?
I believe that Travis's hard hat was in the truck, yeah. All their hard hats were back there. Next day, November 8th. This has become national news. A man is allegedly abducted by aliens in Snowflake, Arizona. The police are being overrun with phone calls from all over the world, and they keep asking for Sheriff Gillespie. They keep calling and saying, "Can you tell us anything about the alien abduction? Can you tell us anything about the ship? Can you tell us anything about all this?" And he kept saying, "It's not an abduction, it's a possible murder case. Don't ask me about the abduction. There's nothing to it." This was happening so often to the point that he would put the phone down and it would just start ringing again. Sheriff Gillespie was quoted saying, "It felt like I had a telephone growing out of both ears." Also, in this same weekend, all the men are getting harassed in town. Snowflake's a fairly small town, and everyone instantly thought that these guys murdered them. Because not only were they blue-collar guys in the middle of nowhere, but they were all younger guys. Like mid-20s, early 20s. Steve Pierce was 17. He lied about his age to get the job.
Yeah, well, what's more believable? A bunch of rugged young men killed one of their own, or aliens abducted someone?
Yeah, exactly. So they are all instantly, these guys killed guys, and they're hiding.
The rational thing to think with a wild story like that.
We say that now, but the way they were reporting it, the actual quotes from it was, "These men claim that their friend was abducted by aliens. When they had long hair and anti-establishment attitudes, the small town of Snowflake, which is a church-going group, does not approve of this sort of message." And they were like, "We believe that these guys killed them," instantly. All based because they had long hair and they were young.
Probably Antifa.
So the men were getting dirty looks all around town. People would shout things out of their car like, quote, "Where'd you hide the body?" as guys are walking downtown. This is crazy how quickly these guys just accuse these guys so fast. And these guys didn't know what to do. Some of their family didn't even believe them at all. These guys begin getting worried, if they find Travis, that might help us, but if they don't find Travis, that could possibly give them enough to throw us in prison. They're genuinely worried, if they find nothing, they could use that as evidence. These guys are getting scared. They were actually encountered by Sheriff Gillespie, and he was asking them, "Are you still sticking with your story, boys?" And they said, "Yes, because it's the truth." They're not budging on it at all.
Yeah, the police are probably putting together their own case already.
Exactly. They said, "If you're really telling the truth, you'd be up for doing a polygraph test." The men agreed. "We'll meet you at the police station and we'll do a polygraph test." Monday, November 10th, the men went to the police station. Steve Pierce was actually driven by his mom, and they were swarmed by press. There was people asking all sorts of questions. They were yelling, "Where'd you hide the body? What happened to Travis? Why'd you kill Travis?" But there's other groups of people saying, "What happened to the UFO? What did the aliens do with Travis?" Two sides all converging on these people. When they go in, they meet a man named Cy Gelson. Cy Gelson is the top polygraph examiner in Arizona at the time, and he's still considered one of the better ones. His tests have shown to have a 92 to 97% accuracy. Pretty good.
It's pretty impressive.
Especially for a polygraph.
Polygraph.
Yeah. Polygraphs tests range from accuracy. Some say hard skeptics say 70% accurate. Most people believe 80 to 90.
I would love to take one someday just to see if I could trick it.
Yeah. The thing is that it's partly the machine and partly the person reading the activity on it, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a two-part thing to trick.
How much do you think a polygraph costs?
That's a really good question. You should look it up. A polygraph examination costs $600, including GST.
Just the examination or the machine?
Just the examination.
I'm talking about a machine. My book on how to pass it for $15 on Amazon. Real home lie detector, $387 and $7 delivery.
Anywhere on here, it says between $350 to $700. This might be worth it.
Bring it to work.
I got one on eBay. It's a military detector test on eBay for $334.41 right now. We could do it. I think this place needs a lie detector test.
We could use it when I give the rating at the end. See if that was my actual rating. 2.5. Okay, 1. 3. Okay, 1.
It would really ruin the show, honestly. Cy went over with them how the test is going to work. He even showed them the questions so that they knew what was coming up. So the men were reading over the questions, and they quickly realized this wasn't a polygraph examination for if they saw a UFO. This was testing whether they killed Travis or not. So they were up in arms. They were pissed. They were like looking at Sheriff Gillespie like, you son of a bitch, you set us up. We're telling you we did not kill Travis. Why didn't you give us a polygraph test for the UFO? And the sheriffs and the deputy sheriffs, they're being real pricks about it. Like, they're like, well, no, that doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. Like, they're just disregarding everything they're saying. And these guys are getting furious.
Why would we ask you about UFOs? UFOs aren't real. Where's the body?
Yeah, that's what they're doing right now. And the guys are like adamant. All 6 of them are adamant. There was a UFO. We saw it. We don't know what to tell you. Like, these guys are freaking out, especially Steve, because Steve was 17. He was about to face life in prison. That's what they were facing, was life in prison or possible death penalty.
Yeah.
Which is insane, based on an assumption.
Yeah.
Eventually, the sheriff calmed the room down and was just like, just run the test. If you guys truly didn't kill Travis, this will show it. And the guys were like, okay, well, that is a good point. So they agreed, okay, we'll do the test. Steve Pierce was quoted, "I was more scared that day than the day I saw the UFO." Cy questioned all of the men. And this is where the first bit of false reports come out. If you look up anywhere, it do tell you that one of the men failed. That's not true. One of the men was inconclusive. 5 out of the 6 men passed examination with flying colors. The only person who did not pass was Alan Dallas. Not because he lied, but because he didn't like the police. And he was very uncooperative, but basically he was too riled up to do the test. So his test was completely inconclusive and they had to throw it out.
He's already thinking in his head they're going to throw him in jail or kill him.
Basically, he's very mistrusting of the police.
Yeah.
And honestly, with these ones right now, I don't blame him.
And in the movie, he, I think, was very hesitant about doing it in the first place and said no at first.
Yes.
But that could just be from the movie.
No, he was hesitant about doing anything. He's the one they had to convince.
Yeah.
But they were like, you have to do it because if one of us doesn't do it and we all do it except for you, all the suspicion will be placed on you.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, I guess we all have to do it. So they did it one at a time in separate rooms. 5 out of 6 men passed with flying colors, and 1 man didn't fail. He had an inconclusive, unfinished test. So lots of people say that they're liars, but no one lied. Cy stated that it is almost impossible for 5 people to be asked the same questions and pass as well as they did if they had done something wrong. There's always 1 or 2 that will stick out, or their stories will change. There's always someone. The fact that 5 of them all passed as well as they did shows that they were most likely telling the truth with 92 to 97% accuracy. Cy was all done, but he wanted to get a second opinion on the tests. He's very good, but still, he wanted to see if anyone else could see it too. So he started packing his machine up. and he started leaving. All the men are starting to crowd him like, hey, what did we get? Are we good? Sort of thing. He's like, well, I can't tell you definitively yet, sort of thing. I can't say what. They're saying, what did we do? What did we do anything well? And Sai told them, you guys passed. Relief. Because they all passed, they aren't on trial for anything now. That doesn't fully take away the blame or the possibility of crime, but they aren't lying.
Yeah, well, there's really nothing to hold them accountable at this point.
Also,
Other than they were with a guy and he's not there anymore. But they all had stories. They all stuck to it. They almost all passed the polygraph test. One guy inconclusive.
Yes.
And then there's no evidence.
And I believe at this time, polygraph tests were admissible in court.
Right.
So this was a big deal to them. So Sai's leaving the office. The sheriff and the deputy sheriff are all there. And they were like, so where's the body? Like, what did they do? Sort of thing. Like, we got him now. Sai looked at them with a straight face and said, they all passed. Shock on the sheriff's face. He was like, no, the sheriff's getting mad now. He's like, no, wait, no, your machine's wrong. Something's wrong. He's like, no, all 5 passed and 1 didn't do the test. He says, that is impossible. They're telling the truth. So he's starting to leave again, and the sheriff says, so what did they see? And Sai just turned to him and said, they aren't lying about the UFO. And left. Now they don't know what to do. The polygraph test proved that they weren't lying.
Yeah.
And that they most likely saw something.
What's the next step really is the big question, like bust out the telescope?
Yeah, like what do you do? I always feel bad for cops in UFO cases. Like, what can they do?
Exactly. Like, everything you know, everything you're trying to do is someone did it.
Yes.
Or something happened within this realm of world that we know.
You get paid $40,000 a year. Can you find her friend? He's on a spaceship.
Like, no, bro, I have to go argue with the homeless person. I don't have time for this shit.
I always feel terrible for cops in UFO cases. I'm like, they what? Like, what are they going to do?
That's not in the job description.
No.
Get the person some meds and call a social worker. Wellness check, that's about it.
That's basically all they could do. Now we don't know what to do. There's no sign of Travis.
Just the end, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cold case. There's no evidence to prove these guys killed him, and there's no sign or tracks or anything of where he went.
Did Travis even really exist?
That's a good question, isn't it? We don't even know. He's not here anymore. There has been a dark shadow on Snowflake, Arizona for the past week. For 5 days, there's been a missing man with no sign of him anywhere. Guys are being accused, guys are being heckled and harassed. Even the families of Travis are getting prank phone calls, calling them, be like, oh, I'm Travis, I'm at Mars, and laughing about it. On the night of November 10th, Travis's brother-in-law is sleeping. When he hears the phone ring, it's the middle of the night. Who the hell is calling? He picks up the phone. He hears on the other end of the line, they brought me back. Travis woke up on the side of a road. He could feel the cold pavement in his face, and he could feel the cold start to sear through his clothes like he just landed there. He sees a light all around him. He slowly brings his head up, and as he does, the light goes out. He sees the bottom of a metallic craft shoot up into the air. He gets up and realizes he's back home. So he just starts running on the street, and he's trying to stay on the road, in the middle of the road, because there's street lights. He was terrified of the dark. He didn't want to look anywhere around him. He's just sprinting. He's in tremendous pain. It's all desperation and adrenaline at this point.
Literally running for his life.
Exactly. Well, as he's running, he sees the lights of Heater, Arizona. So he ran down into the town and got to a payphone. That's where he called Grant. So Grant thinks this is a prank. He's saying, yeah, screw off, whatever. We've had these phone calls already. We don't want to deal with it. And Travis is screaming, no, it's me. I promise you. And eventually, after screaming and convincing him, answering some questions that only Travis would know, Grant was convinced that if this is Travis, like, we got to help him. He's been gone for 5 days. If he wasn't on a craft, he was in the woods for 5 days.
How do you have money for the payphone?
He called collect. So he talked to an operator and they directed his call.
Oh.
So Grant's like, yeah, okay. Gets his coat and he goes and gets Travis's brother, Dwayne, and goes to Heater. They find Travis collapsed in a phone booth. They get to him. He is obviously exhausted. He looks beat up. They grab him and they pick him up and they bring him to their truck. When they bring Travis to the truck and they begin sitting down and driving him home, Travis just tries to explain what happened to him, but he keeps crying and breaking down. He doesn't know what to say. He's lost for words. Eventually, Dwayne just says, just relax, calm down, don't have to say anything. It's okay. We've missed you for a few days. Travis said, what do you mean a few days? I've only been gone a few hours. It's only like midnight. Dwayne looked at him and said, Travis, check your face. Travis reached up to grab his face and felt a thin beard. Travis apparently just went catatonic, just shocked, and just sat there. Couldn't believe it, what happened to him. He said something unexplainable happened to me. The next day, they brought Travis to a doctor, Dr. Howard Kendall in Phoenix, Arizona. And a quote from Dr. Kendall is, his demeanor was compatible with someone being through some kind of traumatic experience. Something happened to him. They immediately began running tests. They told Dr. Kendall kind of what happened, or he knew the story of Travis, but he didn't want the other doctors to think of Travis biasly. So what he told the other doctors was, hey, this is Travis. He's been missing. He's been in the woods. Let's run some tests on him. Didn't tell him anything about the situation. That way you get a proper reading without any bias. So they began running tests. Blood, chemical, physical examinations. On his body, they couldn't find anything wrong with him, but they did find a possible injection site on his arm that wasn't there prior.
Like from a needle?
It looked like possibly from a needle. They just called it an injection site. It looked like an injection site on his arm, but they didn't know what it was. And now when people hear injection site, they're like, yeah, see, he was high on heroin.
Honestly, when you said injection site, that's the first place my head went, was he had a hell of a trip.
Here's the thing. They also ran blood tests, urine tests, everything else. No drugs were in his system. And some of those drug tests go back months. So he was clean. Another weird thing they found is he had an unusual brainwave pattern. He had a bisynchronous wave alternating from front to back. It was detected in the initial EEG scan. Later, he had another one, like years later, and this was gone. So something affected his brainwave function.
Is this a brainwave function that's not seen in anybody ever, or is it just like an uncommon thing?
Couldn't explain it. They didn't know how this worked. They didn't know what could have caused it, but he didn't have it in subsequent brainwave scans.
So this is just like something that people just don't have.
Yeah, as far as I know, it was unnatural. As far as I know, because the guy
not just uncommon, but like
this
unknown.
This isn't normal,
right?
And Kendall told the guy who was doing the test, like, this is Travis. Didn't tell him what he was there for. Just said we need a brainwave scan, and that's what they got. After this, no signs of drug use, possible injection site, brainwaves are different. Dwayne was like, let's bring Travis back to my place in Phoenix. That way he can lay low and no one would know he's back. Fortunately, people did. Now, this is crazy. Within hours, people know Travis is back. How? There's absolutely no reason that they would know Travis is back.
One of the doctors was blabbing.
No. The operator on the payphone had listened into the phone call and heard the whole thing. And she reported it to Sheriff Gillespie. So the cops know that Travis is back. And she starts blabbing that Travis is back. And the cops are already at Dwayne's house wanting to interview Travis. That night. Fucking nuts. And also, that would apply some validity that something happened. He's screaming and yelling on the payphone, and someone, a third party that they didn't know was there, heard the whole thing. Just something weird that adds to this case.
You never knew who was listening.
You never know. Gillespie tried to interview Travis, but Travis was in no condition to be interviewed. He was like sitting on the couch, just completely beat up. And Dwayne just says, hey, can you just let this guy recover? Even if you don't think he was taken by aliens, he was at least in the woods for 5 days with no food or water. So can you just leave him alone? Eventually Gillespie's like, fine, whatever, I'll leave.
He's back. Just talk to him tomorrow.
Yeah, like, I don't get what the deal is with these cops.
Let him get his story straight.
Also, by the way, he's not dead. So your murder case is out the window. So the next day, this got back to the press within 2 days. And Dwayne is getting calls from the press constantly asking about Travis. And Dwayne did some cool shit here. He just kept saying, oh no, Travis isn't in Phoenix. He's in Tucson. Oh no, Travis isn't here. He's over in Heater. Oh no, Travis, last time I saw him, he went to Snowflake. And he kept directing the press to different cities all over Arizona. So it would spread them out. Which I think is freaking awesome. And he just looked at Travis and was like, they're not going to fuck with you. Don't worry. I got it. So good on Dwayne.
Yeah.
What are you thinking so far about Travis's whole thing? Like, the murder case isn't a thing, it seems. You know, he's back. He's here. He's obviously hurt. He's had a medical examination. What do you think about Travis right now?
Well, I'm wondering what the hell happened to him. Probably not murder at this point.
Probably not murder.
I mean, well, like I say, I've seen the movie. The movie gets abducted.
Yes.
Brought back.
Yes.
And in the story so far, he gets abducted and brought back. I want to hear what he has to say about it all.
Well, lucky for you, he's about to.
Do all the other boys know he's back yet? Or is it just kind of like, well, I mean, maybe they do at this point if everyone else knows.
It's been a couple days. They know he's back.
Yeah.
But they're not going to go see him. Like, but they're relieved that their murder charges, like, there's nothing there now.
Yeah, I mean, probably some weight off of Alan's back.
Oh, yeah.
The guy that didn't pass the poly test.
Oh, yeah. No, everyone's like, finally.
But yeah, that really just leaves the, well, what did happen then?
Well, the police had another idea. As I told you before, these men were all lumberjacks, and they were dealing with the largest order they had to date, 1,200 acres. And they were behind. Instantly, Sheriff Gillespie said, I know what they did.
Let me guess. They made up a story as an excuse as to why they were behind.
Precisely. He claims that they made Travis go missing in the woods, concocted a story that he was abducted by aliens, and that way, this would distract from the fact that they were going to miss the deadline of their contract.
It wasn't my fault. It was aliens.
Here's the thing, is yes, they were behind. All the men saw a saucer, and Travis would not have lived that long. And they searched a 20-mile area and couldn't find any evidence of him. Dogs couldn't find him. No footprints. They checked every building within a 20-mile radius, not just the woods. And they had helicopters, everything. And they couldn't find anything. Where was he hiding? He didn't come back to Snowflake with them.
Well, wherever he was hiding, it probably wasn't very comfortable. He looked as rough as he did.
And he also appeared in a town in a completely different location than Snowflake, Arizona.
How far away is Heater from Snowflake?
I've been saying it wrong the whole time. Heber. God damn it, I'm an idiot. Heber is about 35 to 36 miles from Snowflake. So pretty far. Almost an hour drive.
Long stroll in the dark.
It is a long stroll in the dark. My apologies, I twist words a lot and I said Heater when I meant Heber.
Heber, Arizona.
Heber, Arizona. Heber.
All of Arizona is a heater. Except, I guess, Snowflake.
Which is a weird name for a town in Arizona.
Freezer, Arizona. Got some humor around there, it sounds like.
Apparently so. Eventually, the press did catch up to Dwayne's house. And one of these groups was the National Enquirer. They didn't want to just interview Travis. They wanted to fund tests for Travis. So, Travis agreed. This is going to be the part you love the most. They brought Travis to a regressional hypnotherapist. It's a little different than Betty and Barney Hill.
Okay.
They did it actually pretty smart. So, National Enquirer is going to fund this. And they got a professional hypnotherapist to run the examination. But they also had a group of psychologists join the examination. That way they could tell if the hypnotist was leading anyone on, if Travis was possibly making things up or lying, or anything like that. They could analyze the situation.
Okay. Sorry, maybe I missed this. Did you say that Travis forgot everything about it?
Travis remembered a few things. What he remembers is he remembers getting hit with the beam of light and getting flung back. He remembers hearing Steve yell, "They got him." And he remembers being pulled to the craft, and it felt like he was, quote, coming apart as he was getting pulled to the craft. and he remembers the light above him when he woke up on the pavement outside of Heber, Arizona.
Right. I mean, I guess that would explain why you said a few hours and not several days.
Yeah, he just thought he was gone for a few hours. But the thing is that he's having like little flashbacks of what could have happened. He's having trouble remembering, but something happened, but he doesn't know. And I know you laugh about regressional hypnotherapy, but as I've said before, this isn't just used for aliens. This is also used to help Vietnam War veterans, World War II war veterans. Hypnotherapy is something that can help people.
I think it even helps people quit smoking.
It does. So they decided to fund a big examination of Travis. And this is where we get the story of what happened to Travis on the ship. Travis remembers lying on a table in terrible pain. He was on a raised surface with a squarish light above him, right down on him. He remembered he was struggling to breathe, and there was a strange curved piece of something on top of his chest, kind of like something was pressing him down like armor. He thought that he was in the hospital because he got hit with something, and he thought the boys grabbed him and pulled him out of it. He's laying there, and he begins to hear movement. He thinks this is the doctors coming in to check on him. So he begins moving his eyes around, seeing these shapes. It's still very blurry. And then when his vision clears, they weren't doctors. They weren't even human. He started screaming, and the closest one near him, he pushed as hard as he could, which he said, quote, was easier than I thought, and it flung that one into another one. He falls off at the table, and he gets up and turns around and sees them, and there's 3 of them at the edge of the table. They begin walking around the table towards him. He describes them as short, 3 to 4 feet tall, large heads, large eyes, gray skin, no muscular definition, wearing orange jumpsuits. But the strangest part about them is they seemed expressionless and emotionless. Their faces were completely straight. And I actually have an artist's interpretation of Travis's description of these creatures.
I can't wait to see what these silly aliens look like in their orange jumpsuits.
I'm surprised how funny you think that is.
It's kind of funny. I mean, it's 3 semi-classic looking gray aliens. Their heads aren't as tall and oval. They're kind of rounder. But it's like a big round white head, big black eyes, and very humanoid, like in, like you say, an orange jumpsuit. They almost look like prisoners.
A little bit.
But yeah, very round heads. They're not as oval shaped.
No.
Oh, cool. You can buy a Travis Walton abduction alien on Etsy.
I might need that for this room.
But yeah, I guess that's kind of what I pictured.
Yeah, classic alien.
Classic gray.
As they begin walking around the table towards him, they kind of have like their hands out, kind of like he said, in like a calm down type of thing, but their faces were just completely emotionless.
Yeah. Like, whoa there, buddy.
Yeah. Well, he turns around, he is backing up, and he hits a table. And he just grabs whatever's on the table and just starts swinging. And he said he grabbed like a clear rod of some sort. And he just started swinging it, screaming and yelling like threats, almost like you were encountering a bear in the wild. That's what I do with bears and cougars. Maybe these guys will do the same thing.
I'd probably be freaking the fuck out too.
He said this is the scariest thing he had ever experienced in his entire life to this day. Understandable.
Yes.
Honestly, an understatement.
Yeah, that probably can't capture what he was feeling. He's like just not in his own universe anymore.
No. Well, he doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know if he's still on Earth. He doesn't know anything.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, nothing around him other than the concept of a table probably looks familiar to him.
Yeah.
It's all weird. It's all different. It's probably like he was in a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. So he keeps swinging this object, yelling and screaming, and these things keep slowly walking towards him. And then once they got into within about arm's length of him, where he could have started hitting them, they all stopped. They all turn simultaneously and leave the room. When they left the room, they apparently went right. So he slowly walked to the door, looked out, and went left. So he slowly begins to walk down this hallway. And the thing is that he said this hallway was in a constant curvature. And it was so sharp that you couldn't see what was coming up. And he was worried at any second he'd catch another one in front of him. So he was just in constant fear, slowly walking around a constant corner. Just height anxiety.
You can only imagine the tension going on.
Yeah, it's like the tense violin constantly going.
Yeah. A never-ending corner in a nightmare.
Exactly. As he turns more, he sees a room. He looks inside, and he sees that it's a small room with a chair in the middle of it. Now he's worried that there's some master in this chair, because it looks kind of like a captain's deck sort of thing. He slowly walks into the room and peers around the chair. No one's in it. He starts looking around the room to see if there's any buttons or switches to open any doors, what he could do. And he couldn't find anything. There's nothing on the walls, nothing. Then he looks over, and he sees there's levers and buttons all over this chair. So he sits in the chair, and he presses some buttons. And the entire room becomes a star system. Like a massive star map all around him.
Like a 3D thing? Like a hologram?
Yeah. But he says that it was like that, except the whole room went pitch black, and it looked like you were in space.
Oh, okay.
So he would pull the levers, and the stars would move wherever he pulled the levers. He's fidgeting with buttons, moving levers, things you probably should not do on a spaceship. He's trying to open a door. When all of a sudden, a door does open. And he sees a man in a blue jumpsuit with what looked to be like a fishbowl type of helmet on his head.
Neil Armstrong himself.
We know it's Neil because Buzz never went to the moon. According to him. He runs up to this man. He has like shaggy, dirty blonde hair, maybe brownish, and he starts yelling, "Where are we? What are we doing? We got to get out of here," trying to get any sort of instruction or acknowledgement from him. And he's getting nothing. Just an extremely faint smile on an expressionless face. So he's trying to get this man like, hey, can you not understand me? What the hell's going on? Well, that's when the man grabs him by the arm and begins rushing him out of the room. Not like running, but like a fast-paced walk. Travis was continuing to ask questions, but the man wouldn't respond. So Travis assumed that maybe that helmet he's wearing is constricting his hearing.
Sorry, and you might not know this, but is he being pulled to like a parent pulling a child by the arm, like just helpless and getting dragged along? Or is he like voluntarily going with them?
He's voluntarily going with him.
Okay.
Because he's like, this guy's making me nervous, but he looks like me.
Yeah, maybe leading him out of there.
Yeah, that's the vibe he got, is that he was helping him out.
Right.
It gives me the vibe of the one fish from SpongeBob when he's in the abyss that ties the balloon to his arm. He's not saying anything. At the very end when SpongeBob's trying to talk to him and he's not responding.
Where are we going?
Yeah, exactly.
Out of here.
Every time I hear this story, that's what I think of every time. And I just want to hear like Travis go like, "Thank you," and then him go, "You're welcome."
You're welcome.
So Travis thinks that his helmet is constricting his hearing. The man continues to rush him down a hallway and through several doors, when all of a sudden a ramp opens up below them. As soon as the ramp opens up, Travis said he remembered feeling the cold air from the outside hit him. They begin walking down the ramp together. As they walk down, Travis looked back to see that he was leaving the same craft that he saw in the woods. But as he looked around, there were several other craft. He was in some sort of hangar. There was craft of all sorts of kinds, similar to that one and also different, all around this massive hangar. He says he didn't know if it was a mothership or just some weird space station they were at. This man continued to rush Travis through the hangar, and they got to a small hallway that led into a bright room. This is where he saw two more people. There was a man and a woman, one with dark short hair and the woman with long blonde hair. He also noted that all of these people, they were in very good shape, lots of muscular tone to them, and they all had that very faint expression of a smile.
How comforting.
That's the thing. And there's also 3 of them total. And they're wearing the same matching blue jumpsuits as well. The difference between these two and the one that grabbed him, they're not wearing a helmet. So he's like, oh, they can hear me. So he starts saying, like, hey, like, where are we? What are we doing? Can you help me? What's going on? They grab him and they begin forcing him down on a table that's in the room. Now he's panicking. They're not on my side. He starts squirming back and forth and they're trying to hold him, but he's too weak to break anything. They push him down and press on him on the table as one of them grabs like a plastic oxygen mask and brings it down towards his face. The last thing Travis remembers is putting his fingers underneath the mask trying to prevent it against his face. and then he was on the pavement.
I'm wondering if those 3 people were actual people that were maybe like hypnotized or whatever. Because it sounds like these aliens were pretty weak and frail. And then these people were able to hold them down.
I think that these possibly were the same aliens. And the reason I think that is because he thinks that they were communicating telepathically because they had no expression on the face.
Yeah.
And he thinks like, if something evolved millions of years more than us that could use telepathy, why would they have to use smiles, frowns, things like that to convey anything when they could just send you their exact feeling through their brain? And he thinks that, I got off the table and the first thing I thought of is they're small, they have no muscular tone, and they have an expressionless face. They disappear, and all of a sudden he sees these beings that look like him, muscular tone, and they changed their color from orange to blue, and they got a slight smile.
Sure, but like I say, he said he easily pushed one back, much easier than he thought. And, the 3 little aliens clearly couldn't overpower him.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking maybe they got their own little abducted zombie people to do their work for them, which you'd think, they have all this advanced technology. They have telepathy. Maybe they have these other 3 abducted people that they could telepathically tell what to do as well.
Here's the thing, James. This is the first time we're going to discuss a different race of aliens.
Other than the Greys?
Other than the Greys.
The draconian lizard people on 3-Eye Atlas.
We're not that deep yet.
Okay.
Here's what these human-looking aliens looked like.
Interesting.
So there's another race of aliens that people report about. This race of aliens is called the Nordics. The reason they're called the Nordics is because they're all around 6 feet tall. They all have lighter hair, blonde or dirty blonde sort of hair, light blue eyes, and pale white skin. And they look very, very human. And they are known to also not speak, have the same blank expression on their face. They're basically the closest looking to humans that we know of the alien species that are reported.
I think you've mentioned them once before. It sounds familiar.
Probably. You've probably heard me at several parties when I go spewing about aliens or get-togethers or whatever, say a bunch of buzzwords as you guys are trying to ignore me. So,
yeah, it might not have been on the podcast, but you've definitely mentioned the Nordics once before, which is why it rang a bell as soon as you said it.
The Nordics are a commonly reported alien. Basically, the 3 big ones are Greys, Reptilians, and Nordics. There's several different kinds of Greys. There's tall white Greys. There's different kinds of Reptilians.
Are the Nordics Sumerian?
The Sumerian Anunnaki sort of thing that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Lots of people believe those to be possibly reptilian or gray because lots of them are described as snake people. And it's internationally, there's always these stories of these snake-like humans that gifted humanity this technology.
So maybe the Nordics came on over and gave the monkeys Nordic genes and we became people, and then the Anunnaki came and enslaved us for our gold.
Possibly. We don't know.
I think I'm onto something.
You might be onto something, but we're not there yet.
And then the Greys just like kidnapping us for a bit.
They're just here to fuck around.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just do it for shits and gigs. That's the last thing that Travis remembers. And this story got really popular, obviously. It's an amazing story. But the skeptics were very fast to say things about it.
What were they saying?
Lots of people said they're all liars and left it at that, without any factual evidence to back them. One of these men was a guy named Philip Klass. Have you heard of him?
I have no idea.
Philip Klass is like, remember I told you about Stanton Friedman and other guys like that are like career ufologists?
Yep.
He's like a career skeptic dick. And the thing is that
probably relate to him.
He's different than you. See how you and I are talking about it and you can ask me questions and figure things out?
Yeah.
Philip Klass was not a skeptic. He was a claimed skeptic, but he was actually a cynic.
Just a denier.
Just denier outright. And actually, there's a lot of weird things about Philip that he's tied to that comes out here. So Philip claimed that they saw ball lightning. If that didn't line up, they said no, it wasn't the ball lightning, it was a craft. Then he said it was a paper mache saucer made by Mike and Travis. That way to trick the rest of the group. They thinking that they saw a saucer. And thus leading back to the late deadline. They said no, it couldn't be that. They said he was on drugs or was mass psychosis of the entire group. Well, we did a drug test and no, he was not on drugs. And although he did have signs of trauma, there was no psychosis involved. This is the best one. He said that all the men saw a flaming water tower that they misidentified as a flying saucer. Now, there's a lot of problems with that.
They were in the middle of the woods?
They were in the middle of the woods. They saw it floating. And also they said the light that shot out from the saucer was greenish blue, not red or orange. And they had 6 witnesses that were with Travis saying, no, that's not what we saw. Philip Glass is literally just one of those guys who just throws shit out there just to cause problems. So he just kept throwing things out like this. And even some of the reporters from the National Enquirer were also throwing out shit that was not true. For example, they had reporters in the room with the hypnotherapist and the psychologists.
Right.
Some reported that this actually happened. Some reports came out from the National Enquirer that it was actually a front to have an orgy with Travis Walton and the psychologists. This was actually reported and released. They were talking about how it was like a big sex
Hold
front.
on, you're gonna have to say that one more time, please.
Some of the reports that came out that it wasn't an actual hypnotherapy session.
Okay.
It was just an orgy.
An orgy between
Travis Walton, the hypnotherapist, and the psychologists.
Huh.
None of this is true. Not a single one of it's true.
Now, do we know that's not true? Did they record the hypnotherapy session?
There were people in the room. They all...
Yeah, horny people.
There were people from the National Enquirer in the room that also didn't. They reported on something completely different.
You know, those journalists are freaks. I think they might have been on something with this.
It did not happen. This did not happen.
Well, I'll put that at plausible for now.
Okay, at least you're plausible. Basically, there's a lot of things that came out. People were just saying that these guys were all lying and they all failed their polygraph tests. No, only one was inconclusive, but they took that and said they all failed and they're all liars. Well, a lot of stuff has been reported and thrown about. Guys saying, oh, he's an obvious liar, and then taking things that Philip Glass wrote or just wrong reports and taking them as fact. It's kind of similar to the Kelly Hopkinsville Goblins, where all the wrong reports went out first, and it caused a lot of things to get in the way.
Do you think these ne'er-do-wells putting out these fake reports were told to do so?
Yes. And let me tell you why. There is links between Philip Glass and government individuals of him getting paid $50,000 to spread things.
That was a lot of money back in 1975.
The FBI was actually developing a case against him. And then all of a sudden he buddied up with the CIA, and all these allegations went away. Steve Pierce was bribed by the police on several occasions to come and tell the quote-unquote truth. And at one point he actually said, I'm going to take the bribe and go do it. And his wife or his girlfriend at the time said, why? Did you see the alien? He's like, yeah, I did, but I'm sick of these guys telling me what to do. And his girlfriend said, if you want me to believe you, you're not taking that bribe. And he didn't. But guys all around this were bribed, given money, told to be quiet, all this stuff. People were investigating it in the government area. Now, Project Blue Book was defunct at the time, so this wasn't happening with them. But J. Allen Hynek, now that he's out of Project Blue Book, was researching UFOs. At first, J. Allen Hynek, the head of Project Blue Book, was a skeptic, and his job was to cover up and debunk UFOs. By the end of it, he was a full-on believer, and he started investigating them himself.
Okay, I gotta ask you something.
Yep.
J. Allen Hynek.
Yep.
You said was Project Blue Book?
Yep.
Used to cover up, and now he's a believer.
Yes.
At the beginning, we were talking about another guy who you said used to lie about stuff, and therefore you can't trust him anymore.
Yes.
Is it not the same case with J. Allen Hynek?
No. And here's why. So the guy we were talking about before is Richard Doty.
Yeah.
Richard Doty is a known misinformation agent. Richard Doty was portrayed as a double agent guy from the government who is here to tell you the truth. And he would reach out to UFO investigators and tell them a bunch of stuff. Or if they were going down the wrong path, let them go deeper into the wrong rabbit hole to make them look stupid. J. Allen Hynek was an astronomer. And he was the head of Project Blue Book. And their mission statement was to cover things up, sort of thing. Like they were told to cover things up. But J. Allen Hynek believed in actually researching them. He argued a lot against people trying to cover things up. Case in point, the Flatwoods Monster. He fully believed that the Flatwoods Monster deserved more research. He said, this is too strange. This was like within the first few years of Project Blue Book. This was a big case. He was like, we have a being, we have a craft. I think there's something here. And the military was the ones who shut him down and said no. And we know this because all of Project Blue Book's files are released now. You can read through all of them.
All the ones that weren't destroyed.
All the ones that were destroyed. So J. Allen Hynek, he slowly became a believer over time. You're right to be suspicious about him possibly being a misinformation agent, but he didn't go out there and tell people, oh, this is the actual fact, you should do this, or this is what is actually happening, you should do this. He went out there and just independently researched things for people. It was a bit different. He didn't go out there to spread lies. He went out there to help people investigate. Do you get the difference?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
He wasn't doing it like Richard Doty was, where he was trying to give them classified information.
But obviously you see where the overlap is.
There's an overlap, but it's a bit different. It's a fine line. Like, Richard Doty was there he was like, I'm going to spread lies. I'm going to give you the truth.
Kind of like how Mickey Mouse has a pet dog named Pluto and a friend dog named Goofy.
I didn't once think about that. What the fuck? What the hell? We're talking about
kind of strange if you ask me.
We're talking about aliens, and that just threw me for a loop. I was like, I never once thought about that. That's crazy.
Same but different.
That's kind of crazy. Anyway, no, we're not talking about that. So I get where the lines cross like that.
Yeah.
But Doty was actually giving information and stating that it was true. J. Allen Hynek wasn't giving information. He was researching independently. And he just got interested in the subject. That's where the difference is.
Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't actually giving any information that was allegedly classified. But J. Allen Hynek was interested in this case, and he investigated and thought something weird happened as well. And, of course, because of all these lies and terrible reports being given to everyone else, Travis wanted to do a polygraph. So Cy Gelson gave Travis a polygraph test. The same man that gave the rest of the guys the polygraph test. And he passed with flying colors as well. That's 6 out of 7 men with a 92 to 97% accuracy test coming out with flying colors. And guess what? Eventually, in 1993, Alan Dallas was tested again because he felt bad about before. And he passed too by the same guy, Cy Gelson. Travis has had several polygraph tests since then and passed every single one. The only one he did not pass was he was on a TV show called Moment of Truth, where they do a polygraph test and they ask you questions, and the more truthful questions you ask, the more money you win. And it was like really dark questions, and they would tear families apart. Like, did you cheat on your wife? And they'd have to answer the truth, and they wanted to win another $20,000.
I feel like I've seen clips of this horrendous show before.
It got popular on the TikTok and Instagram reels for a little bit there. And Travis was on there. And I believe this episode was unreleased. But he answered everything honestly, all the way up. And he was about to win like the $1 million prize. And of course, you know what the last question was? Did you get abducted by aliens on November 5th, 1975? And he said yes. And it came out as false. He was lying.
Well, there you have it.
Here's the thing. When that happened, though, Travis just kind of looked up like he'd been had. Like, come on. It wasn't like a, what the fuck? It was like a, are you kidding me? And that's the only one he's ever failed, was the one on Fox. Every single other one he's done, he has passed. Every single other one all the rest of the group has done has passed. And there have been several other ones done by the rest of the group. Steve Pierce stated that he took a polygraph test for every new girlfriend he had because he told the story to them and they wouldn't believe him. So he said, fuck it, let's go to the police station. And every time he passed.
Tucker pulling the strings on Fox.
We've made it. That's our first Tucker Carlson reference.
I have to work on that laugh.
I don't know what the fuck that was. What the
I forgot how he laughed. It's weird though.
It was like the clown crossed with Tucker Carlson. I don't know what it's like. It's weird. Weird dude. Anyway.
Weird dude, stupid laugh.
I relate. So this case didn't end in the 1970s. More stuff actually came out about this case.
What more could possibly come out?
Well, James, I'll tell you. The lumberjack crew that was out there that night weren't the only people in the woods that night. It was deer hunting season, brother. There was hunters and fishermen also out on the same night.
Fishermen?
Yeah.
At night?
Yeah. What was
I think there's a song about that.
Is there?
Fishing in the dark? Fish go to sleep. People fuck in the boats.
Please tell me more.
You don't actually go fishing in the dark. It's code.
Well, whether they were fishing in the dark or doing some other activity, there was other people in the woods that night, brother.
They're catching the forest trout.
Can I get back to this?
I had to mention the forest trout. You said fishermen in the forest. Come on.
Fuck me. All right. There were other witnesses in the area that night that reported a strange glowing object rise from the trees and shoot off into the sky. One was a man hunting deer with his wife.
A man hunting deer?
Can I get through? Can I get through this? Did he eat him?
They don't even have fingers to put the ring on.
Fuck. God damn it, James.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Just let me get through this.
I'm sorry. I'll stop being silly.
I'm going to be like, scale 1 to 5, what do you think? And you'd be like, 2, deer don't get hunted by men.
Deer don't have wives. And they don't hunt men. My bad, sorry, dog.
One man was out with his wife hunting deer, and he saw this strange craft rise from the woods and shoot off as well. Here's the thing. He worked for military intelligence, and he came forward that he saw this craft as well. Other people in the area all saw this craft. Actually, the investigation didn't end there. Mike Rogers went back to the area where Travis got abducted, and he took a core sample of some of the trees in the area, and he found that the rings after 1975 were significantly bigger than the uniform size of the other rings. This was actually again talked about in the documentary Travis, where a group of researchers went out to the same area and found the same trees. Here's the thing. They cut down and got a whole stump of a tree. And they got a picture of where the rings enlarged. And it wasn't every ring all around the tree after a certain point. It was only on the side where the craft was. The other side stayed small.
You know, there's an interesting crossover there with crop circles.
Yes. Also, I have a picture for you.
I hoped you would. For those who, for some reason, haven't listened to the crop circles episode yet, it's good. The crops were growing much bigger and thicker when the rings were put there, after the rings were put there.
On the bottom, you'll see that the rings are a lot thinner, and on the top, you'll see they are thicker. It's weird to look at.
It's weird to look at because they have circles overlaying the tree stump, but those circles don't actually line up with any of the rings.
I have another photo for you as well.
Let's try that one.
I had a photo with rings.
That one's hard to know what I'm looking at there.
I had a photo with rings and without rings.
Is it the same stump?
Same stump. So you'll see on the right side, the rings are a lot more tighter together, and on the left side, they are a bit thicker.
On the right side, they're thicker, or the left side, they're thicker?
I believe on the left side, they're thicker. On the right side, they are thinner.
Oh, yeah, you can kind of make that out. On the whitish part there, you can see that they're a little thicker.
Yeah. That is unnatural. And one of the researchers said he'd seen that before in one other place, Chernobyl. But in Chernobyl, it was the entire tree. All around the tree, the rings got thicker right after 1986. In this case, the tree only got thicker on one side, the side that the craft was allegedly seen.
And did they verify this by going like with a ring of trees around, and the thicker rings are all facing in different directions towards the center part?
Yes. All the trees are growing differently that were facing inward to the clearing. Now they took that and were like, this could be evidence of something strange that happened here. So they took this sample to the University of Arizona because they had a big department there for nature and biology, and they could do the proper testing. The university refused to test it. They wouldn't do it, and they still haven't to this day.
Did they give up on having it tested then?
They've tried to get it tested in other places, it just hasn't happened. But it did happen in Chernobyl. It's the only other place that they've seen this sort of thing happen, when something was exposed to a lot of radiation. But that's not the only thing that happened. When Travis opened the passenger door to run towards the craft, The man that was beside him in the truck had his forearm exposed to the craft. That man developed cancer in that forearm years later.
Did he really?
Yeah. Weird.
That's weird.
All the other guys were inside the truck, and he was the one that was actually closest to the opening, other than Travis, obviously. I'm sure as you dig, there's a lot more you can find on the Travis Walton case. It's a strange case. But that's all I have for you today. But Travis, to this day, is nervous. He says that still traumatizes him. The men said when they saw Travis after, it changed Travis. He said that, quote, something was missing from him. He is an absolute believer that he got abducted. He has not changed the story. He's told it the exact same. Actually, when he first came back, Betty Hill reached out to him and said, don't let them make a parody of you. And they actually became close friends after this. Travis has had several documentaries made out of him. He has the movie Fire in the Sky, which is based on his story. Obviously a lot more extreme.
Yeah, there's quite a few things that were a little different.
That movie,
mainly like the flashbacks on the alien ship that it portrays in the movie.
That movie has the scariest abduction scene ever, all time. There's nothing. And that's a made-for-TV movie. Like, what the fuck were they? They were like, I know we're made for TV, but let's just go all out on this one scene.
They did. It was pretty good.
It was really good.
Not necessarily accurate to what you described, but pretty good still.
No, not accurate at all, but still a cool scene. People still doubt Travis's story. Lots of people pick up on Philip J. Klass's bullshit that he was putting out there. But I think it's an extremely interesting story with a lot of corroborating witnesses and evidence. What do you think so far about Travis's story?
It's a story I've heard before, and it's a story that I really I like. It's very interesting. And it's fairly bulletproof. Everyone that's done tests, every polygraph, it all seems to point to these people believe what happened, or what they're saying happened. It's a very interesting one.
I think it's extremely interesting. And also, Travis today does not think they're malicious. He believed that they were fixing him. He thinks that something hurt him when he got blasted. Like maybe there was like some sort of sentry that they couldn't control that hit him. And that's why they brought him on the ship, fixed him up. That's why he was on a medical table and then brought back. There's been nothing in his body that's different. No implants or anything that's been found.
Like maybe the aliens were also there deer hunting.
You don't know. Who knows why they were there? But he thinks that they were trying to help him because he thinks if they were as powerful as they seem to be with a saucer like that, like technology beyond our imagination, they could kill you with a snap of the finger. If they wanted to, they could. So why haven't they?
Right.
He believes that they weren't malicious. And he doesn't like the stereotype that lots of the movies portray, that they are evil, which is something he had a problem with
yeah, they definitely looked scary in the movie. Yeah. They had him like strapped down while he was awake on the table, and there was stuff on his face, and
strapped down with like latex over his face.
Yeah, and
that was terrifying.
Stuff like poured into his eyes or something like that.
Yeah, to shut him up and stuff. It was scary.
So like it was a scary movie, but it doesn't seem like that's necessarily the reality of it, like we were talking about.
No, but I do highly recommend Fire in the Sky if you want to have a fun, cool movie.
Definitely still watch it. You'll get a good enough grasp of kind of what went on.
Yeah. Do you have any questions about the case? Is there anything that you just stick to your mind?
I think I've asked most of them so far. Still alive to this day?
Yes, sir.
Are they all still alive?
No. Some of them have passed. John Goulet passed away. I think a few other guys passed away. There has been Steve Pierce is still alive. I think Mike Rogers is still alive. But they usually keep pretty quiet about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, did any of these other guys get some sort of kind of fame out of it?
No, Travis was the one that got the fame. But, there's lots of documentaries about it. You can find a whole bunch about them. But my favorite thing I've ever seen on it was actually the show Paranormal Witness. Made an episode on it called The Abduction in Season 2, Episode 9. And they got the guys from the crew back. And it's the first time they were on like camera since like the 1970s. So they had Ken Peterson, John Goulet, Mike Rogers, and Steve Pierce. And man, once you watch that, those guys saw something.
Not Travis though?
Travis was there too.
Oh, sorry.
No, but they had the rest of the crew.
Right.
That they could get.
Right.
And they were like you watch it, these guys are crying talking about this. Like Ken Peterson looked extremely shook up. He was like shaking, his lip was quivering just talking about it. He said after this, for months, he felt like a little kid again because he couldn't turn any of the lights off in his house. and he couldn't open any of the blinds because he was afraid of seeing a spaceship. So he kept all his blinds closed and all his lights on for months.
I mean, yeah, like whatever. They clearly saw and experienced something, and it fucked them up.
Again, like what Sheriff Gillespie said, either they saw a spaceship or they are tremendous, like Oscar-worthy actors.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend watching that Paranormal Witness episode because you see these guys that are all like burly dudes tearing up. Mike still feels guilt about leaving Travis in the woods. Mike was good friends with Travis. And he's like, when they were talking about it, he was sniffling and like trying to shake his head at it. Lots of the guys moved out of town. They didn't go back to Arizona. John Goulet left Arizona and never went back. These guys were shamed. Steve Pierce lost contact with his brothers and his mom because they didn't believe him, so he left town, and he was 17. These guys all went away, started new lives, and disappeared because they didn't like what was attached to them.
Yeah.
Travis was the only one who continued with it because he wanted to be a pioneer for abductees and show that this happens.
I mean, yeah, you can't really blame everyone for, basically going away. Even with polygraphs, even with everyone keeping the same story, it's, for the average person, it's still such an unbelievable story. Especially back then, part of people's day-to-day lives. Like, not like today where there's just endless slop online, whether it's real or fake. There's just never ending. There's stories, there's everything. But like, back then, it's just unbelievable nonsense.
There was actually, I saw an interview from 1975 right after it happened. And they were interviewing all the guys. The guys are all in their early 20s. They're young dudes. And they interviewed Alan Dallas, the one who did not like the police. And he said a good line. He said, if we killed a guy that we knew, why would we make up a story that more than half the population wouldn't believe?
Yeah.
And that's a really good point. He's like, if we killed him, we wouldn't make a story that he was taken by aliens that no one would believe. We're not stupid.
Say a tree fell on him. Say a bear grabbed him and ran away with him or something.
A lot more feasible options than he was taken by aliens.
You think that would be bottom of the barrel?
Yeah, 100%.
And given, of course, Travis Walton still alive, so...
Travis Walton's still alive, and the people that were there, even though Alan Dallas didn't like him, he's the one who said, he was defending him even though he hated the guy. And a lot of people in that crew said Travis wasn't a liar. And lots of people question, why did he chase a UFO? That seems like a stupid thing to do. Travis was known to do shit like that. He was known as the guy to tempt fate a bit. One time they were riding in the truck out to the site, and a grizzly bear ran in front of the car, and he hopped out of the truck and chased it. So he has done things like that. But according to the men, he was not a liar, and he was a daredevil. So this does line up with him.
Okay, now we can't have an alien episode without asking the question, was the CIA involved?
As far as I can tell, no. Why would they get involved in this?
No military, no CIA, just straight up, this was an alien case.
There's been no attachment with CIA, other than them talking with Philip Glass, spreading info.
Do we know anything more about the guys that showed up with Geiger counters? I mean, they were probably from some agency.
No one knew who they were, and we don't know who they are to this day.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of mystery around it. None of the guys in the crew had any strange military attachments, any government attachments, nothing weird like that. They were all just blue-collar dudes.
Is the exact spot where it happened, obviously, like is it marked on a map or anything?
I don't know. I know you can find it.
Because I know you can find it. Like, people took core samples of the trees, like you said.
Yeah.
Could that be a place that, given we'd have to go to Arizona, but could that be a spot where we could easily go to and look at ourselves?
Probably. There's logging roads out there. I don't know what it's like now. This was in 1975. This is
yeah. That was a long time ago.
Actually, when this episode comes out, it will be 50 years since it happened.
Almost to the day.
50 years ago, Travis Walton got taken by aliens. And also, if you want to celebrate a weird day, November 10th, 1975, Travis Walton was returned to Earth, but also the Edmund Fitzgerald sank the same night. So it's a weird day in history.
You think they're related?
It's weird how they happened at the same time. Like the times when Travis was brought back, the Edmund Fitzgerald was sinking. Which is a weird thing. So if you want to have a real bro night, get some beers, go to the garage, celebrate Travis Walton's return, and cry about the Edmund Fitzgerald. Because it's the 50th anniversary of both.
And listen to the song about it.
Damn right. We should do an Edmund Fitzgerald cover, but just make it about Travis.
We could.
Just a cold night in Snowflake, Arizona, when Travis saw the saucer in the trees.
Perfect.
Anyway,
I was gonna say you play guitar and I'll sing, but no, you sing. You can actually sing.
I try.
I can just yell into a microphone.
You can do that thing in the background like, scrap!
Scrap!
Yeah, talk to him.
Scrap! Pop! Man's not hot.
All right, we're getting off track and the beer's hitting you. You want to go to conclusions?
Sure.
Let's do it. All right, James. So today, on the case of the Travis Walton abduction, we have 7 past polygraph tests with flying colors done by the best polygraph tester in Arizona. We have 6 corroborating witnesses that have not changed their story, and Travis, who had not changed his story. We have the medical examinations of the EEG and the strange brainwaves. We have the strange puncture mark on Travis's arm, but no drugs in his system. We have the strange radiation on the trees causing him to grow on only one side, only seen in Chernobyl, but also in Snowflake, Arizona.
And crop circles, kind of.
With all this, and more, because all the skepticism has been debunked more than the actual case, on our scale from 1 to 5, what do you come down to today? 1, I'm an idiot. 2, you're skeptical. 3, you're on the fence. 4, there's something strange here. 5, Travis Walton was abducted by aliens on November 5th, 1975.
You know, I'm a bit of a sucker for some alien cases.
They're pretty fun.
They're way more believable than ghosts and hauntings. I think today come down to a 4.3, 4.4.
Let's fucking go, brother!
I think something happened.
Damn right something happened! Travis got taken by fucking aliens!
Maybe.
That's a 4.3 maybe.
Is it 4.3 to a 4.4? Somewhere around there.
We'll take it. Goddamn right he got taken by aliens. I think there is irrefutable proof that he got taken by aliens. That's my opinion. I'm a 5 out of 5. I got you over a 4 on Travis Walton. That's more than fair. I'm fucking stoked. We should go get bin for. Ah, man, every time I prove you right, I have an urge to get a burger. Anyway, fuck, I'm stoked. I'm glad. Thank you for sitting here and listening to me talk about aliens for 2 hours.
You're welcome. Oh, that wasn't for me. That's for the audience.
With that, thank you for listening, everybody. We got James to over a 4 on Travis Walton. You can follow us on all of our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok for case photos and updates. The link is in the description of every episode. If you enjoy what we're doing here, you can rate and follow on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, or anywhere you listen to this podcast. Also, share with your friends. Word of mouth is the best advertisement, and it is free. And if I've missed anything, or if you have a case idea that you want us to look into, you can email us at darkdosenpod@gmail.com. With that, James, any words to the wise?
Make sure you always keep change in your pocket in case you get abducted by aliens and need to find a payphone if those still exist.
Wise words from a wiser man. Thank you for listening, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.